Hey guys, welcome to Stampin' with Alicia. So, as I'm sure you saw in the thumbnail, we're going to be creating a decorative piece using the Succulent Garden Suite. I'm so excited because it's something completely different that I have never done before with paper. So I'm really looking forward to it. But the supplies we will be using are the Succulent Garden framelits. And here are the stamps. If you buy the bundle together, you save 10%. So it's definitely worth it. Here is the Succulent Garden cardstock pack that I'll be using. It is mint macaron, old olive, and tip top taupe. Then, if you want, you can bring in sweet sugar plum. If you want your flowers to have a purple in them, kind of like this right here. Okay. Also, there is another option in the Occasions catalog. You can use your dies. But then there, on the next page, there is this vertical garden kit. Now, and here they bring in sweet sugar plum, calypso coral too. But you can buy this kit and you can add the stamp set if you want. If you want to create something like this, it comes with everything you see here. Minus the stamp set, you have to buy that separately. But all the pieces are cut out for you, so you only have to, fold them and adhere them to your box. So if you want the pieces already cut out, go for it, get this. But the nice thing with the dies is that you can make as many as you want. So I would recommend the dies, but totally up to you. So let's go over the supplies you'll need, or that I'm going to be using. Here is the Succulent Garden paper pack with the 3 different cardstock colors. Here is the sweet sugar plum, which I will not be using today. I'm just going to keep it more of a green, earthy tone, so I'm not going to use that, but I wanted to show you as an option. Next, you will need your Tombow Mono glue, a tool that is rounded at the end. This is the closest thing I have to something that is rounded at the end. If you have the Stampin' Up! Paper piercer, which I will link below, it's a piercer on one end and then like a rounded tip at the other. But I tried this and this will be okay. This is actually we're going to fold our flowers using this, and this will work fine. You'll need your glue gun. And then for ink, I chose Crumb Cake, Rich Razzleberry, Early Espresso, and Old Olive. You will obviously need your dies. Now I went ahead so this video isn't 10 years long. I die cut all my pieces already. And here are the 3 colors I'm using: mint macaron, tip top taupe, old olive. And there are 6 dies, and I have cut out each die in the one color, and then I grouped them as a set. So this will be 1 flower. And I did quite a few just so I would have enough. Now for your decorative piece, it's all up to what you want to do. I've seen a terracotta pot, some wooden pots, just whatever your preference is. So this is what I chose. I got it at Joann. It was $10, and then with a coupon, it came out to be like $6. So really nice and not too big and not too small. Then I got a block of these foams that you find in the floral department. This comes in a pack of 6. These can get expensive, so definitely look around. I think the really hard styrofoam is more expensive than the soft. This is the one that when you walk by, you kind of just want to smush it. Or is that just me? So it's the softer one. There's the even softer one. I think it's wet foam. I don't know what it's called, but just whatever will work. This one was a better deal. A pack of 6 was actually cheaper than buying it single. So just whatever foam will work for your container. This one fits perfectly. And then next I got some moss, and this is pretty cheap, $2.99 at Hobby Lobby. You can find it at any craft store in the floral section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear everything out, and then we're going to go ahead and start putting our container together. Okay, so here's my box, and here is my piece of foam. Now this doesn't fit all the way down, and I'm actually okay with that because I'm going to build my flowers around it. Now another thing is that this is pretty secure. It's not coming out. So I'm not going to glue this in here. Just in case later on I want to change it out, I can just take this whole thing out and change it with something else. So I'm just going to put it in there where it's nice and snug. And so it's not moving. Okay. And since it's paper that's going to go on top of here, it's not going to be a lot of extra weight. So I don't have to worry about it then dumping out the more weight you put on it. Next, I'm going to take my moss. Well, this is like really tangly and messy. Just kind of loosen some of it before I add my glue. And then I'm going to just add glue to the top all over. So, go ahead and add our moss. Okay, so I'm going to take my old olive pieces first and my scrap of paper. And I have all my inks out with some ink daubers. And this is just whatever your personal preference is as far as inking them up. I'm taking the old olive ink and just inking up with my ink dauber. And you will get very inky, as you can tell. So, just a warning if you decide to do this. So I ink up with the old olive all the edges. You can go from the center out. This part will be covered with my layers, so it doesn't really matter if you get ink on the center or not. And you can go as dark as you want, as light as you want. Stampin' Up! Has sponges like this, and I cut them into 4. You can use those if you want to blend. If you don't have the ink daubers, I personally like the ink daubers better. I feel like I have more control, and it gives it a smoother finish. But whatever you have, that's just my own preference. All right, if you want a little bit darker look, you can go in. I'm going to take some early espresso and kind of just lightly touch up some areas. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think the more imperfect it looks, the more natural it looks. And, you know, Google succulent pictures, you know, of actual ones, and kind of study their coloring if you want yours to look as realistic as, you know, possible. Okay, and then for the edges, I take my Rich Razzleberry. Is that what it's called? Yes, Rich Razzleberry. And for this, I am using a sponge. I was using my ink dauber to do the edges, but it was actually eating up my ink dauber. So I switched to the sponge, and the sponge works perfect for this. And all you need to do is dab it a couple times, and it will last. The ink on your sponge will last a couple inkings. So, inkings of a couple flowers is what I mean. So you can do it as much as you want or as little as you want. Just the tips, or if you want to go in a little, you know, whatever you like. Okay, so here are my old olive pieces. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my circle tip, rounded tip. This isn't ideal. Something smaller would work better. So since this isn't ideal, I'm using the palm of my hand to really help me out and just make circular motions in the center. However much you want it curled, the more you want it curled, the more you work it. So just circular motions. You can also use your, if you saw my previous video where I made a card, you can use your bone folder to curl the edges. That would work fine too. But since I'm doing so many, I just think this is the quickest. But if you use your bone folder, you can just, if you want to curl more of the edges and not the center, just be gentle because this paper will tear easy. So once I have all my pieces curled, excuse me, sorry, I'm going to go ahead and glue them down with my Tombow Mono glue, and I like to stagger the leaves. And then kind of wait a couple seconds for it to kind of all adhere. And then I take my rounded point again and kind of just push and fold up with the palm of my hand so it has that curved look. And you can make them as curved or as flat as you want. So there's that one with the old olive. Next I'm going to take the mint macaron and go ahead and ink it up. And then I will do the tip top taupe. And I'll go ahead and fast forward through this. So here are all my little pieces. Hopefully I have enough. I'm going to go ahead and heat up my glue gun, and then we will go ahead and place them in my little container. All right, so I have my decorative piece here. So my glue gun is hot. I'm just going to go and take these and randomly place them. If I feel like I need more, I'm going to go ahead and I'll just make some more and then fill it in. I think now that I'm kind of put this together, I'm thinking smaller ones may fit nicely. So in any of the, there they go again, open areas, I may fill them in. And I think I've changed my mind. I may do them in Sweet Sugar Plum. We'll see. Just to add a little bit of color. Since my moss is green, the Sweet Sugar Plum, now that I'm thinking about it, may actually be nice. Okay, so I have this so far, which actually looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead, I cut a few extras, and I'm going to go ahead and see how the purple, the sweet sugar plum looks. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those, ink them up, and then I will come back and we will add them and see how that does. Okay, so I have 2 more smaller pieces. We'll go ahead and add these and see how they look. I add a little bit more of the rich raspberry to the tips of those. I think the different sizes kind of gives it a more natural look. All right, here are my 3 little sweet sugar plum flowers. I didn't use all the dies. I only used 3 of the dies. I didn't use the 2 largest or the smallest. I used the 3 in between. And just to kind of fill in some areas here. I did a little bit of crumb cake ink on the flowers and then added the rich raspberry on the tips, so they didn't lose their purplish color. So I think originally I didn't want to use this color, but I think this will add a nice subtle pop of color. So let's see. And I just kind of want to fill in some spaces. I did 3. And I think that'll be the perfect number. Now, if you recreate this project, the one thing I would change is I would not make all of these the same size. I would do some bigger, some smaller. I didn't even think to do that, but I think that would give it a more natural look. But hopefully adding these smaller ones here and then the sweet sugar plum ones will kind of make up for that. And then maybe over here, let's see. There's a small one there, so I'm thinking of popping this just on maybe there. I'm so proud of myself. I have not burned myself with the glue gun. Of course, maybe I should have said that after I glued this down. Okay, that one's kind of hidden, but okay. So I think this turned out really cute. I will have still shots at different angles at the end, but really adorable. I may add a couple more here, but this could always be the back side of wherever I sit it. But really sweet. Remember, this is in the Occasions catalog, and you can create this using the framelits and the Succulent Garden. You just need a garden's cardstock pack, if I can speak. You just need to add the sweet sugar plum if you want. Or if you want to create this, you can get the pre-cut pieces, which is nice, but once you use them, they're used up. And this vertical garden kit comes with all of this, so you can create this. It does not come with the stamp set though. This stamp set is separate. So this is kind of nice and handy that it's already done for you, but the framelits allow you to create a whole bunch and as many as you want. So if you're interested in any of the products, please look below. I will list this as a bundle together, the stamps and the framelits. But I will also list it separate if you want to just buy the framelits. But remember, when you buy the bundle, it is 10% off. So, and with any $50 purchase, you get a free item in the celebration. So just keep that in mind when making your purchases. You might as well take advantage of it now. So this completes our little mini series. Here are the projects we made with the sweet succulent, or oh so succulent garden collection suite. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be back with another mini series on Monday, but I will go ahead and make a few videos the rest of the week showcasing some of the celebration items. I've been dying to bust out those stamps and use them. So stay tuned for that. And if you have any questions or would like to place an order, let me know. Once again, all links for the products will be below. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.